Cowboys lead the New York Giants 17-14 at the half. And the Giants appeared to be coming back and gaining momentum as the first half came to a close. There's been a lot of talk lately about the high-scoring games. You remember the last Sunday night game between Dallas and the Los Angeles Raiders. How many points were scored there? The game between Green Bay and Washington. And John Madden, of course, has been very close to this game of football, was so successful as a coach. Do you think that with the rule changes, John, that there is now too much offense and they've crippled the defense too much?
Yeah, I mean, they have, but I think it's good. I like it. I really enjoyed that Raider-Cowboy game last Sunday night because both teams were doing a lot of things. They were trying, they were working, making things happen. And I think we have to look, who do we play football for? I think, is it for the owners, the coaches, the players? Probably not. I think to play for the fans. And I really know that the fans enjoy that type of game. That they enjoy scoring. They enjoy touchdown passes and all that excitement. And I think that's why we play the game.
John, I was interested in, we visited with Tom Landry, the coach of the Dallas Cowboys, last night. I was interested in his comment about how his coaching philosophy itself hasn't changed, but his way of handling people has changed.
Well, it was interesting, and I know what he's talking about. He said, you know, we used to be able in the old days, the Vince Lombardi theory, you know, that everyone had to be tough, everyone had to be dedicated, do all these type things. And he said now, he said, in the 60s, we got a different type of kid. And he said, you get those guys that are self-motivated, and they're going to be there anyway. They're like the A students. He said, but the job today is to bring those guys that aren't, to bring them up to that level. And he said that's a real challenge, and it's a lot of fun.
And probably Tom Landry has done that as well as anybody else. His record speaks for itself, and so did yours, as a matter of fact. Right here at Giants Stadium, it's Dallas 17, the Giants 14.
The dandruff shampoo that keeps working day after day after day. And by Honda Motorcycles. Honda, follow the leader.
Ali Haji-Sheikh will kick off the second half with Dallas leading the Giants 17-14. And the Sheik hangs it high. Going to Brian Fellows. Almost taken down back at the 10. Struggles out to the 15. Tackled one more time by Larry Flowers. First half statistics.
I think the big thing here are the turnovers. You know, the Giants are really playing pretty well, and their defense came on towards the end. But the thing that hurt them were those 3 turnovers, and they were all the same thing, quarterback fumbles, and they have to get that straightened out at halftime.
Tony Hill comes wide to the left. Drew Pearson out wide to the right. Dorsett and Springs behind White. White will throw on first down, has Cosbie. Doug Cosbie to the 34-yard line. Mark Haynes made the stop, and White comes out crisply to begin the second half.
You know, one thing, what they're doing is they're talking. There's the officials. They're up in the stands at halftime.
Tomorrow is Halloween.
That's right. You know, one thing on first down, the Giants are so conscious of Tony Dorsett. What the Cowboys are having success with is faking to Dorsett on first down and then throwing the ball.
They do have a way of figuring out things. First and 10 to Dorsett. Reverse coming. This is Drew Pearson. Got one good block. Carson made the stop. Glenn Titensor made the good block, and he is starting at offensive center instead of Rafferty.
Watch this. It's a reverse. Here's Pearson. He starts back in motion. Now the ball snapped. He gets a handoff from Dorsett here. Now right in front here is going to get a good block from Titensor. Right there. Seeing Titensor freedom to just pick up about those 2 or 3 yards. Otherwise, it could have been a loss.
So it'll be second down and 7 at the 37. Just opening the second half. Newsom has replaced Dorsett. Handoff is to Springs, and Springs gets out very near a Dallas first down. He may have it. Brian Kelly and Terry Kennard. Check out that blocking.
Well, it's a draw play, so it should start out like pass protection. See, they're not going to fire into him. Here, the center and the guard do fire down. Geez, that's good blocking, the nose tackle. then the tackle does a pass protection, and they run between the nose tackle and the defensive end.
Jim Burt, by the way, John, has back spasms. He had back problems, and his place has been taken by Charles Cook, number 74. You mentioned that good blocking on the nose tackle. There he is, number 74.
That's Charles Cook, and he was just activated for today's game. That's a welcome to the league. The old center blocks on him. The guard comes down. See, then they seal him off, and they invite the end up the field in pass protection and run the draw between the two.
Rafferty on the sidelines, Burt on the sidelines. The center and the nose tackle who began. This is Dorsett. Whipped up in the backfield by Lawrence Taylor and really cut down. Fumble. The officials say that the already encountered the ground, and so there is not a fumble. Lawrence Taylor upset.
I don't know, but Lawrence Taylor comes through here like he's shot out of a cannon. Watch the I formation. They're going to hand to Dorsett. Now watch, here comes Taylor right in there. Now what they're saying again is that the ground can't cause a fumble. Taylor hit him in the knees, and when the ball hit the ground, it bounced out of Dorsett's hands.
2nd and 11. Dorsett lost the yard after that tackle by Lawrence Taylor. He's coming again. Did a good job on him. Pass is intercepted by Terry Kennard. Cowboys are saying he was out of bounds.
Usually when it happens in front of a bench, that team gets the call. Let's see what they're going to do. Oh, I think they're saying he's out of bounds.
Intended for Tony Hill. Ernie Stutler of the Dallas coaching staff was all over the officials very quickly.
That whole Dallas bench was there. It happened right in front of them.
Well, that's a good call.
It was a good call because the left foot was out. He was okay with the right foot. He had the right foot in. The left foot was out.
Kennard has one interception. He almost had two more. As Bill Parcells and Brian Kelly confer over on the sideline. Tony Hill comes out against Terry Jackson. It's 3rd down and 11. Giants showing blitz. They bring a lot of people, but it's not a blitz. Incomplete in the direction of Newsom. Andy Hedden on the coverage, and White will have to punt.
I'll tell you, this Giant defense, at the end of the 2nd quarter and starting here in the 3rd period, has really been putting the pressure on White, and it looks like they have that Cowboy offense out of sync now. In fact, it looks like the Cowboys are getting a little frustrated offensively.
It certainly does. 4th and 11. Danny White back to punt. This is a situation where you have to look out for him. Leon Bright back deep. White does kick. Good kick. Bright. Field. Got some blockers in front. Rod Hill is down. He runs into his own man.
Yeah, that was Pete Shaw. Pete Shaw was coming up to make a block. We see Leon Bright starts to cut back. Now look, he starts to run to the right. Then he's going to cut and go back to the left. Now watch, Pete Shaw is behind him. Pete Shaw is looking to make a block. And he just knocks Leon Bright down.
And the Cowboys make sure he stays down. 17-14. Giants Stadium. Pat Summerall and John Madden with Dallas leading the Giants 17-14, but the Giants coming on. 1st and 10 at their own 20. Jeff Rutledge, the quarterback. Heading in motion. This is Butch Wolford. And Butch got about 4 before Bob Brunig made the hit. Houston leading Cleveland 16-10, 3rd quarter. Minnesota losing to St. Louis 27-10, 3rd quarter. Atlanta 24, New England nothing, 3rd quarter. Gortkowski to White Shoes Johnson, the last score. Detroit over Chicago, and Baltimore leading Philadelphia 19-14. Here it's 17-14, 2nd and 6. As Rutledge goes back to throw, has a man open. Has a man shake free. Has a man still shake free. Butch Wolford to the 30. To the Dallas 30. 44 yards by Butch Wolford. Finally, Anthony Dickerson, who was was the first man to miss him, finally chased him down.
And he was a man that had put Woolfolk in coverage. It's man-to-man. It's out here to the left. See, now, Dickerson is beaten right there by Woolfolk. That's one thing he does wrong. Two, he misses the tackle. And then he says, I got to make up for that somehow. So he chases Woolfolk and finally catches from behind.
Rob Carpenter, as a penalty flag goes down quickly. And the Giants are probably offside. Harvey Martin, who started the second half on defense for Dallas, made the stop. It's against the Cowboys, not against the Giants. These two teams didn't play last year because of the strike situation. The last time they did play, the Giants won 13-10 in overtime. Freddie Wyant.
Encroachment, number 51, first down.
Well, that's a tough time for old Anthony Dickerson. He got beat on coverage, missed the tackle, and on the next play, he lines up offside, or encroaches, they call it. Man, someone's picking on me.
1st and 5 from the Dallas 27. Handoff. And quickly hit is Butch Woolfolk by Randy White.
Randy White must have made some move there on guard Billy Ard, because I don't even think Ard touched him. Let's see if we can see it from the end zone here. He'll be in the left side. See the left guard right there? Oh, he's blocking down. It's the center's block. See the center and the tackle block him right into the ball carrier.
Brad Benson was trying to come with a cutoff block. And that's a tough guy to cut off. Here's Rutledge, rolling control roll. Sheds one tackler, throws down to Mulledy. Mulledy to the 10, and it's a Giants first down. Michael Downs finally made the stop. 15-yard gain.
I think we'll see more and more of this. You see here, if he drops straight back, then he has to throw in the rush. You see, he starts back, he's going to roll to the left. There's Randy White. He makes him pull up, takes a few steps up, and he finds Mulledy right there. You see, Brunig was there. He thought the play was over. He thought he was sacked, and he stopped his coverage of Mulledy.
Mulledy gets the Giants first down at the 11, 1st and 10. Giants with a chance to go ahead, or at least tie. Hand off to Butch Woolfolk. He is taken down by Harvey Martin as he tried to cut back.
I'll tell you one thing, if the Giants don't pick up a first down or a touchdown here, I bet they don't go for that fake field goal again.
I would bet you're right.
They'd probably like to have it back. The score would be tied right now, 17-17.
One of the reasons that the Giants made a change from Scott Brunner to Jeff Rutledge was their inefficiency inside the 20. So let's see what Rutledge does. 2nd and 7. Rutledge rolls again. Cuts again. Ed Jones cut him down at the 10. Might have lost a yard.
Here it is again. Now, Rutledge throws the best to his left. So when he rolls, he's going to tend to roll more to the right. He usually throws best to his right. So when he rolls, he's going to roll mostly to the right. That time he wasn't able to get outside.
So they're at the 10. And it's 3rd down and 9 for the first. 10 for the cut. Cowboys showing blitz, and here they come. This is Woolfolk. Tried to spin outside, and he's clamped down by Bill Bates, and Ali Haji-Sheikh will come on.
One of the things that have been disappointing about the Giants this year, as you said, is inside the 20. Now, what they would like to do is they would like to score when they get inside the 20 at least 60% of the time, and they've only been scoring a touchdown about 30% of the time. Bill Parcells feels that when you get inside the 20, you ought to be 100% scoring, and with this guy here, they will be, Haji-Sheikh. But 60% of the time, you ought to score a touchdown.
It's hard to comprehend sometimes, but he said we felt we were getting too many field goals. Ali Haji-Sheikh ties the game at 17. 6 1:54 left third quarter. It's the Giants 17 and Dallas 17 at the Meadowlands. A reminder that CBS Sports Saturday returns November the 12th. The 1983 World Figure Skating Champions, the World Cup Acrobatic Championships, and John Madden's Journeys. Check your local listings on your CBS station for that return of CBS Sports Saturday. Ali Haji-Sheikh kicks off. Ron Fellows fumbles, picks up. Takes his time. Tackled it outside the 12, about the 13-yard line by Frank Marion. Talk about parity. Look at this. The visiting teams have won 62 games, 55%. 32 games have been won by 3 points or less. 60 games have been won by 7 points or less. And there have already been 13 overtime games this year. So the draft establishes strength for the week. It looks like they've done it.
You know, in that 13 overtime game, of course, that ties the record. Here we are at the halfway point. We've already tied the record for overtime.
Dallas has the football at their own 13, and White goes back, scores tied. Pass complete to Drew Pearson. Terry Jackson pulls him out of bounds. Pearson makes everything look so very casual.
That's when you're good. You know, when you've played the game as long as Drew Pearson, this is his 11th year. And, you know, the Cowboys seem to have a lot of injuries. This guy's down, this guy's hurt, he's out. But Drew Pearson always seems to be there.
Seems to show up.
Yeah, I mean, guy's hurt. He never seems to get hurt or anything.
The only time I can remember him being hurt for any extended period was when he hurt himself spiking a ball in the end zone. They don't do that anymore. Here's Dorsett to the outside. Dorsett out for about 8. Terry Jackson made the stop. Drew hyperextended a knee in the end zone with some extra acrobatics. It'll be 2nd and 1 as Dorsett got 9.
You know, in that last play, Doug Cosbie made a nice block on Lawrence Taylor. They ran at Lawrence Taylor and picked up 9 yards. That doesn't happen very often. It was a good block by the tight end, Doug Cosbie.
Lawrence Taylor, number 56, lined up outside on the right side, not showing blitz this time, but you never know. And here he comes. Outside quickly. Drew Pearson. Terry Jackson had a hand on it. Tony Hill, I'm sorry, not Drew Pearson.
Terry Jackson saying that's about as close as I can get to him. And how did Danny White get that ball into Tony Hill? That was a heck of a throw. There wasn't much room.
It really was.
Let's watch it. We can see how close Terry Jackson is here. Runs from the end zone. White just takes 3 steps back, hits it out there. There's Jackson right there. He just waved his right hand on it. Got by that right hand and into Tony Hill's arms.
It's Hill against Jackson on the left side one more time. Pearson is split out wide to the right. Dorsett the lone setback. White will throw again. Does throw again. Cosbie is wide open. Cosbie's gone. Somehow they isolated Doug Cosbie on Brian Kelly. And you talk about a gawking mismatch, there's one.
That has to be a missed coverage here. The Giants were in a double. Let's see if we can see it here. Now what's happening is we're going to get the corner here. Here's the corner. The safeties are going to be deep. Doug Cosbie comes straight up the middle here, and the safeties are rotating to the outside. Here's Brian Kelly here. He's the closest guy to Doug Cosbie. Watch your play. Now Doug Cosbie is coming right down the field. Now look, there's Kelly. The safeties are out. The safeties rotated to the outside. There was no one in the middle.
And there's no way you can cover like that. Rafael Septien hits the extra point, and Dallas retakes the lead. 24-17. It's hard to criticize Brian Kelly because that had to be a blown coverage somewhere else. Dallas up by 7. Doug Cosbie, who just caught the longest touchdown pass of his career, 61 yards out from Danny White, and Rafael Septien will kick off. Leon right at the 5. Jim Jeffcoat down to make the stop.
Let's watch what happened on the touchdown. Now, here's the weak safety, Kennard. He's going to come weak, work here. The corner, of course, here goes here. Now, the safety's up here, so when Cosbie releases, the only guy that can cover him is right there, Kelly. See, the strong safety's up in the line of scrimmage. A weak safety, watch him, he'll work right out here. You see now, just Cosbie just blows off the line right there. Now, the closest guy is Brian Kelly, and, of course, that's a mismatch.
What did Bill Parcells say about Terry Kennard? They're going to fish him?
Well, they did. He went weak, and Cosbie went strong.
Eddings has the reception covered by Wall. First down, Giants. Dallas leading 24-17, but not over by any means.
There's Eddings out here again. Now, once you know a guy has speed, you have to honor him deep. See, so we see the corner Walls is off him, so then Eddings can just make that out cut in front of him. You always have to make them think you're going deep. Then you can get those ins and outs and hooks.
First down, Giants at their own 42. 5:27 left third quarter. Jeff Rutledge gives to Rob Carpenter, who cuts back over the middle. Hit by John Dutton. Randy White on the bottom of it, too. A couple of other scores. Tampa Bay 12, Pittsburgh nothing third quarter. 4 field goals by Bill Capice. Buccaneers long overdue. Houston also long overdue. They lead Cleveland 16-13 third quarter. Second and 7 here. As Rutledge goes back to throw, and does. Wide open is Butch Woolfolk with a lot of room. Woolfolk down the sideline. Downs finally knocks him out of bounds inside the Giants 15 at the 11. Cramped, I think.
Looked like both legs cramped up on him at the end there. That's what it was. Just cramped up. 2 big passes for Butch Woolfolk coming out of the backfield.
Nobody around for Dallas. He just had a lot of green in front of him.
He's here on the right. Now he's just going out here to the right flat. Rutledge sees him. Someone must have gotten picked off a linebacker because there was no one around Woolfolk, and they didn't catch him until he got down to the 12-yard line. Look right here. Looks like right at the end he starts to cramp up. He takes that hit there, then both of his legs cramped up.
At the 11, this is Rutledge. Ducks under 1 sack attempt. Joe Morris was his intended receiver, and they couldn't come up with the handle. Harvey Martin with the pressure on Jeff Rutledge. Bill Parcells, the Giant head coach, back checking on Butch Woolfolk, and I'm sure that's what happened. Just cramped.
Probably would like to ask Woolfolk if he could do that one more time. In his second half, Woolfolk out of the backfield has had 2 big passes for the Giants.
2 receptions for 88 yards. Second down from the 11. They need 10. Rutledge. Incomplete. No interference. No flag. No nothing. Ernest Gray, the intended receiver. Everson Walls, the defender. Watch him coming at you.
I think Ernest Gray is saying here that he was bumped before the ball got there. Now remember the rule on pass interference is the defender can't touch him until the ball gets there. That looked like a legal defensive play.
And a very good one.
That was something. Everson Walls was on his back from the outside, reached around him with his right arm and got his hand in there.
So it'll be 3rd and 10. And again, the Giants have trouble inside the 20. Woolfolk is back with Carpenter. He's the other running back, and Rutledge goes shotgun, and the Dallas Cowboys go blitz. Gray can't hold it. Fellows was the defender, and Ernest Gray just couldn't get the handle.
I tell you, you can't blame Jeff Rutledge for that one. That's about as well as you can throw the ball on a blitz. Now, this ball has to be caught. Ron Fellows makes a nice job. He does a nice job of hitting Gray there. But doggone, when a receiver on the goal line, you have to play like a linebacker there. When you get on the goal line, you have to make those plays. I mean, that was a good throw, good protection, and Gray has to make that play.
However, he didn't. So Ali Haji-Sheikh from 29 yards out will try the field goal. Gets it up in the air so very quickly. He's only missed 2 all year, and he hits that one. And so it's Dallas 24, the Giants 20, and we have 4 minutes, 21 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Quite a ball game on hand. It's Dallas 24, the Giants 20. With 4:21 left, third quarter, as Ali Haji-Sheikh kicks off. And it'll be Fellows. Coming left. Fellows out to about the 23 or 24. Frank Marion made the stop. Next Saturday begins with the NCAA today. It'll either be Pittsburgh against Notre Dame or Florida, Georgia. Plus regional games, 3:30 Eastern Time, right here on CBS. Right now, Pat Summerall and John Madden at Giants Stadium, where the Cowboys lead the Giants 24-20 with 4:10 left, third quarter. Tony Hill comes wide to the left. Drew Pearson is out to the right. Handoff is to Dorsett. Tony D bangs out for about 8 yards. Bounces for a little bit more, but they'll move it back.
That was an interesting play here. It's a sucker play, and what they're trying to do is they sucker the nose tackle. Now watch the center here. Instead of blocking straight ahead, he'll just go back. Watch him. He just goes back, and he lets the nose tackle take him out. The nose tackle goes with the center off to the right, and they just sucker and run right up the middle.
Dorsett has been averaging 6.3 yards on first down. This is Springs. Springs gets the Dallas first down out to outside the 40. Maybe the 41. Harry Carson tripped him up. See what happened to Harry.
Of course, he's the second guy there, number 53. Watch that. He does a pretty good job of taking on that blocker.
It was Rafferty.
It was Tom Rafferty going. He goes, whap, puts him down, and makes a tackle. That's the way an inside linebacker plays.
Harry is a strong man.
Harry says the men play inside, the boys play outside.
Dorsett swings out of one blocker, away from one tackler. Terry Jackson came up to knock him out of bounds. Dorsett just barely got headed upfield. That's Anthony Dickerson over on the sideline. Houston 19, Cleveland 13. Florian Kemp just kicked the field goal. Buffalo 27, New Orleans 7. Ferguson has thrown his 4th touchdown pass, and St. Louis running away from Minnesota 34-10. Philadelphia now has taken the lead over Baltimore 21-19 at 2nd and 8 at Giants Stadium, with Dallas leading the Giants 24-20. Interesting games going on. Tony Hill shifts out in motion. White back to throw. Does throw. Incomplete. Drew Pearson, the intended receiver. The defender was Mark Haynes, who did an excellent job.
And the rusher was Lawrence Taylor, who knocked Danny White on his back. Watch this. He'll come from the left of the screen. Now, there's pretty good pass protection here in the middle. Now, watch Taylor here. He's working on Howard Richards. Watch. Oh, it was Carson. Excuse me. I thought that was Taylor. But, Jesus, Danny White threw that ball. Boom, did Harry Carson give him a lick.
So it'll be 3rd down and passing down for Dallas. And Danny White will operate out of the shotgun. He has all of those weapons in there with him. Butch Johnson, Newsom, Giants showing blitz, and here they come. White going deep. Tony Hill. No. Jackson back there with Tony Hill. Penalty marker is down quickly. Leonard Marshall, number 70 for the Giants, put whatever pressure there was. Holding against the Giants.
And that's probably another one against the tight end. Let's watch that rush here. We see the linemen coming, the linebackers, the two linebackers, Hedden and Taylor coming from the outside. We get pretty good pressure there from Byron Hunt.
Number 43, first down.
Just checking out the Dallas offensive alignment, Phil Posderick has replaced Jim Cooper at the right tackle spot. Rafferty is back at center. Donovan is still there. Richards is still there. Peterson is still there. So Posderick has replaced Cooper. Everything else remains intact. Inside handoff to Springs. Got a good block from Donovan. And Springs whirls down to about the Giants 43. For an NFL update, let's take you one more time back to Brent Musburger in our New York studio.
Pat, the Bills are going to beat the Saints, but the headline in this game is Joe Ferguson. Here's his 4th touchdown pass of the day and his 2nd to Mike Mosley. And now he's tied with Lynn Dickey for the lead in the NFL at 19. Back to Pat and John.
Brent here at Giants Stadium. It's Dallas 24, the Giants 20. Closing minutes, I should say, of the third quarter. 2:01 left to play. Dallas leading 24-20. And on the move, Springs cuts for a first down to the Giants 40. Lawrence Taylor was the first man to make contact with Ron Springs. He is having a good year.
He's probably the most underrated player on this Cowboy team. He's their leading receiver. He scores. He blocks for Dorsett. He runs the ball. I'll tell you, he does everything.
And last week he threw it.
Threw it left-handed to the quarterback. Of course, that play was the only reason Danny White was eligible is because he was in a shotgun. Had he been up under the center, he wouldn't have been an eligible pass receiver.
First down, Cowboys at the Giants 40. White goes back to throw. Gets it outside quickly, and this is Ron Springs. He gets the first down, stays on his feet, gets out of bounds. Terry Jackson hit him, forced him out of bounds, but Springs.
I think Springs ran right over Terry Jackson. Jackson was coming up to make the tackle, and Springs just put his right shoulder down and ran right over him. Watch this one here. We see Springs in the backfield. See, he fakes in there like he's blocking, comes through the line underneath. Now watch him. Now here comes Jackson right here, 24. Watch him. Boom. He just put Jackson right down and kept on going.
I think you're right. He did just run right over. Never forget the game he had against the Eagles a couple of years ago. So they really had to have it. Dorsett got hurt. Springs was in a tailback. Did a whale of a job. Got Dorsett now swinging to the outside. Flag goes down. Everybody's pointing fingers at everybody else. It's going to be against the Cowboys, I'm sure. Bill Courier made the stop finally.
I think it's going to be some kind of holding against the Cowboys. It's either going to be on Ron Springs or Drew Pearson, because somehow they double-teamed out there on Mark Haynes, and one of them held Haynes. Haynes is there yelling and said, if 2 of you block me, you don't have to hold me. It's either going to be on 88 or 20.
Freddie Wyatt, the referee, out to check on things. By the way, the rest of his crew, the umpire is Dave Moss. The head linesman is Tony Viteri. Line judges.
Number 88, first down.
Pearson.
Well, it was Drew Pearson. Now watch him. He's going to come up here in a run block. Here comes Mark Haynes. You see him? Now right there, it looks like Pearson got his hands out. Then he grabs him from behind. Right there. He has a right hand on his jersey. Haynes is saying that's enough, and here comes Ron Springs. He hits him.
Got the full handle.
Yeah, he really did. He just grabbed a hunk of jersey and held on. He said, you're my man. Don't you make the tackle.
So it's 1st and 20 as Pearson goes in motion. White. That's Timmy Newsom. Newsom at the 10, tackled by Terry Kennard. 27-yard pickup, a Dallas first down. They have it at the Giant 10.
I'll tell you one thing about these Cowboys. They hurt you with so many weapons. We see Dorsett run, Springs catch a ball, Pearson, Tony Hill, Timmy Newsome comes in the game. Boom, they just hit him right down the middle, and he gets a big play.
They can come at you from a lot of different areas. Here is Taylor blitzing.
What's that? Pat Donovan. He's a left tackle. He's going to take Lawrence Taylor. They'll let the guard take the defensive end, but the tackle's going to take Taylor.
Handoff Springs. To about the 7. Brad Van Pelt, number 10, on the bottom of the pile.
I'll tell you what really took the wind out of the sails of the Giants on this defense is when they had, on this drive, is when they had 3rd down, and Terry Kennard had that holding penalty that gave the Cowboys a 1st down.
So that's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score Dallas 24, the Giants 20. We now pause for a word from your local station.
Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way. And by Budweiser Light, with a clean, distinctive taste, worthy of the king of beer.
We're at Giants Stadium in the Meadowlands. Pat Summerall and John Madden. 2nd and 7, the ball at the Giants 7. Cowboys have it. They lead 24-20. White back to throw. Has a man, Drew Pearson, and it's a Dallas touchdown. Annie White. Drew Pearson. Captain to captain. That's the reason for those C's on the shirt.
Here it is right here. It's a 3-step drop. Just a slant in here to Pearson. He got by. I don't know what happened to Terry Jackson. He just let him go, and then the weak safety, Terry Kennard, didn't get over there. Watch this. Jackson lets him go, and Kennard's not there.
And Rafael Septien with Lynn Carano holding will try to put Dallas with a bigger advantage, and he does. Septien hits the extra point, and it's Dallas 31, Giants 20.
Let's watch that touchdown for here. Now, it's going to come from out here, and we're just getting a slant right here. Now, here's Terry Jackson. He has him, and Kennard, the safety, should be over there, too. Watch him now. He runs the slant. Jackson just let him go. He just let him go, and the safety didn't get over there. He didn't even point to him.
He didn't even point to the other defender. Dallas 31, the Giants 20. Pat Summerall and John Madden at Texas Stadium. Dallas leading 31. We're not at Texas Stadium. We're at Giant Stadium. I'm sorry. It's a bigger hole in this roof. Rafael Septien kickoff.
I think Rafael brought a bad tee with him to this game. See, the ball just fell off again. He had to use a holder once already.
Septien to Leon at the 3. Taken down by Bill Bates. Bill Bates has become sort of a cult hero in Dallas.
He's a cult hero with us, I know.
Yeah.
That guy just runs down the field, runs through everyone, and makes the tackle.
Rams 5-3, the Dolphins 5-3. That's our doubleheader game. Let's watch Bill Bates on that kickoff return.
This is what, you know, it's the fastest guy isn't always the first guy down there. It's guys like Bill Bates. Look, he passes everyone, just runs right through and makes the tackle.
Jeff Rutledge back to throw, throwing deep. Picked off by Dexter Clinkscale. And Dallas will have the ball back. Floyd Eddings was the intended receiver, but Clinkscale and Downs were down there quickly. But hold it. There's a flag down.
Probably against the Giants for leaving too soon. That's one that's tough to throw. It's tough to throw into that post when there's another safety in there.
Offside, offense, declined, first down.
You can beat one guy on it, but trying to beat two guys in the post deep is very, very difficult. In fact, it's impossible. See, well, watch this. Look, it's just man-to-man. The guy, there's downs outside, clink scale inside. There's no way that pass can be completed. You can't have better coverage than that. You have to throw it somewhere else.
That's perfect. 31-20, Dallas. Next Sunday at 12:30 Eastern Time, the NFL Today, and Dallas will be at Philadelphia and Atlanta, New Orleans. Those are the early games. St. Louis goes to Washington, and the Cardinals apparently have resumed their quest for respectability. They'll be at Washington. That ought to be fun. After the interception, Cowboys take over. Rafferty is back at center. Fosderick is still the right tackle. White gives off to Dorsett. Dorsett sees so much. Feels so much.
Yeah, what he saw in that time, he saw Cosbie make a block. Kennard didn't know what happened. Kennard starts to run away from it, and Dorsett blocked off it. Now, watch here. Here comes Doug Cosbie in motion. He's going to come out here and block on 43, Terry Kennard. Now, look, Kennard turns, and he starts going back the other way. Dorsett sees it and just runs right off that turn. He doesn't miss a thing.
Nope. 4 yards for Tony. 2nd and 6. 13:55 left to play, fourth quarter. Springs breaks the tackle. Brad Van Pelt finally wraps him up. Other score. St. Louis 34. Minnesota now 17. Dills just hit Sam McCullum. Atlanta 24. New England 7. Grogan to Derek Ramsey. Detroit 31. Chicago 10. Walter Payton just scored for the Bears to make it at least respectable. It's 3rd and 5 here. White goes back in the shotgun. I've just got a feeling there'll be something strange going on right now. All right there. Drew Pearson turned inside, had the ball come right directly over his head. A very difficult catch. And one that he's made many times before.
Watch him here on Mark Haynes again. Now, the problem with Haynes here is when he's up there, oh, geez, he even grabs him there. You see, and then he turns him, he brings him inside to the outside, but Haynes didn't get a bump. When you're up that tight, you have to get a bump. And that ball was a good thrown pass. Drew Pearson should have caught that pass. He worked too hard not to catch it.
Looking straight back over his head. Not quite pick it up soon enough. Here's White. Leon Bright lets it bounce. And Fellows downs it at the 2-yard line. A flag is down.
You know, Danny White says he likes to punt. You know, being the quarterback, he says if something bad happens, he said he can take it out on the ball on the punt. And usually when he has to punt, something bad did happen the play before, or he wouldn't be punting. He said he can take it out on the ball and whack, take that, you ball.
Well, you know, Tom Landry said last night he was still looking for a new punter. I wonder if he's still going to after today.
Well, Danny White says he wants to punt, but Tom Landry says he doesn't want him to, and Tom kind of gets his way.
Yeah, he has for a while, hasn't he?
He had dinner last night with the owner of the Giants, Wellington Mara. Last 2 times that they've been here.
Number 52, first down.
Last 2 times the Cowboys had been here, he'd also had dinner with Wellington, and they lost both games. He said, this is the last chance I'm giving that deal.
Of course, Tom played here with the Giants. Played with the New York Yankees before that. Giants out of the huddle quickly. They trail the Cowboys 31-10. Backed up way deep. Rutledge in the end zone. Outside on the stray. Dennis Thurman out there with him. Stops him after about an 8-yard pickup.
This is the type of thing that's very tough to throw from your own end zone, because if you have any holding penalty, it's a safety. But they did it, a three-step drop, boom, just a quick out there to Ernest Gray.
More than 8 yards, very close to a first down. Is a first down. I said a minute ago that Tom Landry played for the New York Yankees. Some of you may not remember that there was a football team named the New York Yankees. And that's who Landry played for after he came back from being a bomber pilot in his career at the University of Texas. First and 10 Giants. Rutledge to Wolford. Chased by Dickerson. Still on his feet. Still on his feet. Butch Wolford by Everson Walls down at the Dallas 45.
Butch Wolford is one of those guys who's trying to fire this Giant team up today. I'll tell you, he's been doing very well coming out of the backfield, man-to-man on Anthony Dickerson. Watch him right here. You see he has him beat by a couple steps. Now as he turns up, we'll see Michael Downs come to block him there or to tackle him. Boom, he just runs right over him, does a little spin, and he finally gets taken down by Everson Walls. That's pretty good. You beat one, run away from one, run over the next guy.
He has 3 catches for 131 yards. Wolford. Rutledge back in the pocket again. This one's picked off by Dennis Thurman. He gets one good block. Thurman still on his feet, taken down finally by Mullaby. Dickerson and Wolford going at it a little bit. The Giants have had 5 turnovers, and that is hard to overcome.
Well, there's a flag on that play. Let's see if we can see how it started. Woolfolk, of course, have been going against Dickerson all day.
51, unsportsman, number 25, first down.
You know, I wonder why they even bother throwing flags on those things, because all they do is say unsportsmanlike conduct this team, unsportsmanlike conduct that team, and it's all off. Why don't they throw it to the guy who starts it? Ought to be the guy penalized.
Dallas up by 11. Tonight on CBS 60 Minutes, Alice, One Day at a Time, the Jeffersons, Goodnight Beantown, and Trafford John, M.D. You think about the Dallas Cowboys and how methodical they look. They take it one day at a time, don't they?
Yep, they sure do, one game at a time, and they're just proving, you know, this isn't one of the Cowboys' best games, but they're proving it even when they're not. They're really that much better than the Giants.
Dorsett loses the ball. Giants pick it up. Terry Kennard picks it up. Well, maybe we talked too soon.
Danny White's over there arguing with the official. He said the ball was down.
Terry Kennard appeared to have hurt his foot just a bit. Let's see.
It's just the flip and the sweep. Led by Springs. Dorsett, oh, he just got kicked there. I see what Danny White was arguing about is that old rule that the ground can't cause a fumble, that it wasn't he was hit. The ball went out when he hit the ground. Danny White was right.
When he hit the artificial turf. Nevertheless, the Giants have the ball at the Dallas 32. And Rutledge goes back to throw. Throws deep for Gray. And the flag goes down. Dennis Thurman ran into Gray.
But he tried to get away. Thurman tried to get away. He's saying that it's on Gray.
The Cowboys are saying it's against Gray. I don't think so.
No penalty. The ball could not be caught.
No penalty. The ball could not be caught.
That's a terrible rule. That's the dumbest rule in the book. I'll tell you, because how do they know that it couldn't be caught? If the guy hadn't bumped him, how do they know that the guy couldn't catch the ball? The bump is the thing that changes everything.
I think the acting job does a good job here.
Yeah, if he's bumped and turned off his course, how do you know that he couldn't catch the ball? I really think that is a bad thing. Say that there's no penalty because he couldn't have caught the ball anyway. You don't know. Had you let him go, he may have caught the ball.
J.T. Turner was the injured Giant who walks off the field now. Ernie Hughes has taken Turner's place. 2nd and 10. 11:48 left to play. Dallas trying to put the pressure on Rutledge. He gets away. Still on his feet. Dumps, throws, intercepted by Brunig. He wasn't sure he had the handle. Miller brought it down, but Brunig, after checking out the label, finally tucked it away.
Hey, this is a long, long day for Jeff Rutledge. He's had his interception problems. He's had his fumble problems. Here, of course, he's just scrambling. See, he starts out, can't find anything. Does a pretty good job of getting out here. Then he gets another rush. And you see what happened? He had to back up as he was throwing the ball.
So Dallas survives, and here's Rutledge again.
There's Big Too-Tall. You see, he's coming at him, and he just had to stop and back up, and he didn't have anything on the ball, trying to get it to Miller.
That pass looked like a kickoff. 1st and 10 from the 25 for the Cowboys, and Dorsett slashes over to the left for about 7. Harry Carson tripped him up. Cowboys are 7-1. Giants 5-1. Giants 6 turnovers, Dallas 2.
Of course, the Giants aren't good enough to have that many turnovers. It was interesting last week. The Raiders had 6 turnovers and beat the Cowboys, but the Giants aren't that good that they can afford 6 turnovers.
2nd and 1 as Dorsett gets a rest, and Newsom is the tailback. White. Tony Hill, the intended receiver. Terry Jackson, the defender, and Hill had a couple of steps. Just to bring you up to date again. 4th quarter. Pittsburgh seems to be coming back. Tampa Bay still leads 12-7. Buffalo 27, New Orleans 14. Saints just scored. Minnesota coming back. And New England making an attempt against Atlanta. Detroit 31, Chicago 17. Jim McMahon is now the quarterback, and that score 22-21, Baltimore over Philadelphia. 3rd and 1. Dallas coaches yelling for a timeout over on the sideline as the 30-second clock is down to 5 seconds, and they take a timeout.
You hear Tony Hill come off the field. He said, "Nobody told me. Nobody told me." And he and assistant coach Dick Nolan were arguing down there.
And Danny White comes over to the sideline to check out things as his Cowboys lead the Giants 31-20. Pat Summerall and John Madden at Giants Stadium, where the Cowboys lead the Giants 31-20 with 10:47 left, 4th quarter. Bill Parcells, in his first year as the Giant coach, beleaguered would be an understatement. Doug Cosbie is the flanker right behind Billy Joe Dupree, so the 2 tight ends, and there goes Cosbie. There's the spring. Jolts his way outside the 35, and that should be enough for a Dallas first down. Very close, but should be enough.
You know, it's been interesting over the years watching Doug Cosbie develop as a tight end and as a blocker. On short yardage, always bring him in motion, and he leads in on that play. And he's really getting to be a pretty good blocker. He's starting to look like a guard now. But watch him come in. He'll come in right there on the right of the screen. You see him? He just put his helmet in there, square, knees bent, toes straight ahead. Boom! He's blocking like a guard.
I got the impression when he first came up that he wasn't ready for that. But he has developed. This is Dorsett. Cut down by Harry Carson. But he got about 6, and Dorsett now is slow in getting back to his feet. Carried 21 times for 85 yards. Asking for some help. Tough guy.
You know, last week, every week, every NFL team has to put in their injury list, and they listed Dorsett as probable overall body soreness.
You can see why.
Well, everyone that ever plays the Cowboys, every week when we do a Cowboy game, we go, and I always say the number one thing we have to stop is Tony Dorsett. They got a lot of guys looking for him.
Newsom is getting him a rest now on second down. White back to throw, going deep. Tony Hill. Terry Jackson back there with him. Tony Hill will score for Dallas. Another one of those cases where the pass is underthrown, and it works to the advantage of the receiving team. He got him alone.
That's really man-to-man coverage all over the field. As you said, Tony Hill just stopped, came back, caught that ball. Watch, it'll be out here to the left. Pretty good pass protection there. Lawrence Taylor got knocked down. And we see right here, Jackson's in pretty good position. His momentum carries him past Tony Hill. He stops, Hill makes a move there, and goes in for the touchdown.
Danny White's 5th touchdown pass of the day. That ties a club record, which was shared by Eddie LeBaron, Don Meredith, and Craig Morton. 5 touchdown passes for Danny White. Septien adds the extra point, and it's Dallas 38. The Giants 20. Bill Parcells must wonder. The pass is underthrown, and it's a touchdown.
He's probably also wondering about what he's going to do for a quarterback next week.
Terry Jackson, who really wasn't beaten. He had the man-to-man coverage. Looked like the pass almost slipped out of Danny White's hand. And Tony Hill had to come back for it, and still, it's a Dallas touchdown. Next, for most of you, not those of you in New York, our doubleheader game is the Los Angeles Rams against the Miami Dolphins, both with records of 5 and 3. Eric Dickerson and Dan Marino, 2 of the best rookies everywhere, anywhere, will be featured. Scott Bruner is the backup quarterback to Jeff Rutledge. It remains to be seen whether or not Bill Parcells will put him back in.
You know the tough thing about that, the way the Giants do it, they do it under Coach Parcells, and they did the same thing under Ray Perkins, is the starting quarterback gets all the snaps in practice. That means every offensive play that they practice, he gets it. So you really only have one quarterback ready to play that day. Now, Rutledge said he got them all last week, and he got them all the week before. So Scott Bruner hasn't had an offensive snap in 2 weeks.
Septien kicks off. This time it's Joe Morris. Morris swings outside the 30 to about the 31. Another one of our long games. First final of the day. Atlanta beats New England 24-13. Their record goes up to 4-5, and don't count them out of that picture at all. With people like William Andrews and Steve Bartkowski, they'll be factors. First down, Giants at their own 31. Rutledge up under the center. Now the Cowboys can lay it back and go after it. Dickerson takes down Rob Carpenter after about an 8-yard gain.
You know, those Falcons have another great player. We saw him last week, and that was Billy White Shoes Johnson. He looked like a one-man gang, didn't it?
He had, what, 221 yards by himself?
Right.
Baltimore beat Philadelphia. That makes the Eagles 4-5, and Baltimore still in the picture in the AFC East. Here is Bush Wolfel. Cutting back and cutting out to the 45. Stopped by Dennis Thurman. The Jets play San Francisco later on this afternoon. The 49ers appear to be back, don't they?
I'll tell you, they looked that way in training camp. Last year, they just never seemed to regroup from their Super Bowl season. And this year, from the day they went to training camp, they looked much, much improved.
Cowboys now go with a 4-man front, 2 linebackers, one of whom is Bill Bates. Oh, what a hit on Butch Wolfhook by Dennis Thurman.
There's another guy. They always think they're going to replace Dennis Thurman at corner. He's too small, he's too slow, he's too this, and he's too that. But one thing about these Cowboy corners, you may get something on them. You may get something once in a while, but you're not going to make a steady diet of it.
They'll get one back for you. And they hide Thurman in the middle in certain situations. Down goes Jeff Rutledge in the arms of Randy White. That hurt. Let's go to Brent Musburger now in our New York studio.
Pat, the story of the day is the comeback by the Steelers. They were pathetic for 3.5 quarters. 5 minutes to go, a touchdown, and then a field goal. They pulled to within 2 of Tampa Bay, 12-10. 5 minutes to go. Back to Pat and John.
Here at Giants Stadium, it's Dallas 38, the Giants 20. 6th sack of Jeff Rutledge. Randy White. Rutledge back. Fires to the outside. The Wolfhook. Pates is right out there with him. I think Bates is one of those guys like Lawrence Taylor. He likes the game.
He sure does. Jeff Rutledge, I think on the play before that, when when Randy White sacked him, I think he hurt his left knee.
Dave Jennings. Backhand to punt with Rod Hill back deep for Dallas. The stands start to empty. Jennings. Rod Hill. Outside the 25, 26. Frank Marion down to make the stop one more time. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, and it's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New York Giants and the National Football League is prohibited. Scott Bruner warming up over on the sideline as his Giants trail 38-20. Dallas on its way to another victory. This would make them 8-1. Danny White still the quarterback. Dorsett is back in. The handoff is to Dorsett. And Dorsett gets out to 35, outside the 35 to about the 37 before Byron Hunt. Tony, 22 carries, 94 yards today. Checking out Jeff Rutledge. Looks like his left knee might be the problem. And frowns on the other side and legs crossed, and
it just looks like it's all in a day's work for them, don't it?
Yeah, it does. It really does. 2nd and 2. 8 yards is the way it's supposed to be. Springs, Cowboy first down. You know, we don't mean that. I know. In a disrespectful way. They just go about it in a methodical way.
Well, they do, and I really feel that's Tom Landry's approach to it, because Tom goes about it in a methodical way. He's not an emotional man. He doesn't get all fired up for anything. He knows that there'll be another week. You just get ready, and you have a job to do. You wear your suit and necktie to the game, and you take it off, put on your football suit, go play the game, and go to the locker room and go home again.
And there'll be another game next week. Newsom. And Timmy Newsom gets about 4. Dallas keeps the football, and we go to Brent Musburger in our New York studio.
Pat, this is one you called a long time ago. You said the Saints would be back against the Bills, and indeed they are. 3 touchdown passes by Wilson, and now it's 27-21. And remember, Danilo missed an extra point. Could be a big one. Back to Pat and John.
Jeff Rutledge, the golf cart, heading for the locker room. Problems with his left knee, it appears. Bill Parcells, problems with the team, it appears. Second down and 6, and Danny White looks downfield. All the time in the world. Throws it to the other folks. Terry Kennard comes up with the interception and loses the ball. The ball is still loose. Everybody chases it. Giants have it.
I'll tell you, that play really says something about Tony Dorsett. That ball was thrown to Tony Dorsett. He drew a crowd. It probably shouldn't have. But when Kennard intercepted the ball, Dorsett turned and burst and came back and made the tackle. Now, that's the type of player that is an all-out player, because watch him here. He had every excuse not to do this. But watch this first. He'll come into the screen right there, and Dorsett's the guy that made the tackle and darn near got a fumble. Now, he could have had every reason not to do that. But the great ones do that instinctively.
And Scott Brunner is the Giant quarterback. He goes to work quickly. Pass incomplete. Intended for Floyd Eddings. The word on Jeff Rutledge, by the way, is that he's gone to the locker room for x-rays on a badly bruised knee. So apparently not a cartilage or a ligament problem.
You know, the Giants' situation at quarterback, it started out to be controversial because they had the 3 quarterbacks. Scott Brunner started the season. Phil Simms was his backup. Jeff Rutledge was a third. Then Simms gets hurt, so it's down to 2, and now Rutledge. So it's down to Scott Brunner, the only quarterback they have healthy.
That's his foot to about the 38, stopped by Randy White. Dallas leading 38-20 with 3.5 minutes left to play in this football game. Dallas has 2 timeouts remaining. They both have all of their timeouts remaining.
You know, when the Giants look at this film, Pat, they're going to find 2 guys where the Giants have played very, very hard today. One is Butch Woolfolk, and the other guy is Lawrence Taylor. They may find more than that, but I know they'll find those 2.
No question about that. Here's Brunner dropping straight back. Firing across the middle there, incomplete, and there goes the flag. Hold it. Penalty marker. Another penalty marker. Rod Hill, I think, is going to be called for pass interference. And now they say maybe not.
Well, it's pushing or holding, but then that other penalty may be for arguing about it. Rod Hill's down in the ground. I don't know if he's hurt or...
I think cramps again.
Yeah.
I thought tennis players only got cramps.
Well, you know, it's a cold day here, and sometimes you sweat, then you go to the sideline, and you kind of tighten up.
Number 32.
Dennis Thurman. Dennis Thurman. Dave Jennings over on the sideline. I'm not sure what he has in mind. Giant president Wellington Mara looking on. Rod Hill, I'm sure, with cramps. Boy, you think about what we mentioned at the top of the show. Excuse me, John, go ahead.
I'll tell you, that was a heck of an effort right there.
Yeah.
No wonder. I mean, he deserved to get a cramp on that one. He really stretched out. But you know what happens, I think? Here's what I was saying. You know, it gets cold, and then they go in and they play, and then they sweat, then they come off on the sideline, and they kind of tighten up. Then they go back in, and they stretch out like Rod Hill did on that play. And it's easy to get a cramp. I mean, the worst thing is it's easy also to pull a muscle.
You think about the fact that this stadium seats almost 80,000 people. I was just showing you Wellington Mara a minute ago, who is the president of the Giants. You think about the fact that they've had 73 consecutive sellouts ever since the stadium's been open. And when his father purchased the team, it was $2,500.
Good return on investment.
Not bad. Winner for Woolfolk. Dennis Thurman on the coverage. Let's, for an NFL update, go back again to Brett Musburger.
Well, the Falcons have beaten the Patriots. Here's a controversial moment. John can take a look at it. Steve Grogan, did he cock his arm? They ruled it a fumble. The Falcons scoop it in, and they go in for 6. So Atlanta does a job against the red-hot New England Patriots, 24-13. Back to Pat and John.
I'd say he cocked his arm. Legal. Touchdown.
No forward motion, right? You called it. Here's Brunner back to throw. Under pressure. That's going to be out of the end zone.
Rod Hill caught that ball. They got that cramp again.
He did.
Yeah, they took him out for one play, and then he came right back in. That was the same thing. It's a cramp in that left leg. Well, both legs, I guess. You talk about triple coverage, man. That's throwing into coverage. That's 4 of them. That's quadruple coverage. I watched Rod Hill. He goes up the highest. He catches that ball right there. He was out of bounds, and it doesn't count. He was out of the end line. That was quite an effort.
That looks like back at training camp. I'll tell you what. Well, let's look at some other scores. Detroit 38, Chicago 17. That's the final. The Lions have gotten suddenly tough. Houston and Cleveland tied at 19 in the fourth quarter. St. Louis 41, Minnesota 31. Cincinnati 6, Green Bay nothing. First quarter. Pete Johnson scored the touchdown. Miami leads the Rams 7-0. First quarter.
Your head up, Scott. We still got some time to play here. Let's go.
Tell you what, if you've never had, I started to say a minute ago, if you've never had those cramps in your legs like that, it's like somebody stuck a knife into your leg and started to wiggle it around.
And then, as you know, as Rod Hill knows, it'll go away, and then you go back in, it's going to come back again.
Yeah, that's right. Which is exactly what happened to him. As you know, that Miami-Los Angeles game is our doubleheader game, the second half of our doubleheader. For most of you, not here in New York. Here's Rod Hill.
Look at that. You could see both of those legs. It looked like they went into spasm.
Right.
You see them just kind of shake and quiver.
3rd and 10 for Brunner. He goes outside to Ernest Gray. And Ernest is wrapped up by Ron Fellows. Dallas 38, the Giants 20. Dallas on its way to being 8-1. The Giants to 2-6-1. And wondering. 4th and 2, and of course they've got to go for it. Butch Woolfolk and Rob Carpenter behind Scott Brunner. And Brunner throws quickly. Incomplete. And Dallas will take over. They come out with their backup folks. Chris Schultz. Brian Baldinger. Backup offensive linemen come out for the Cowboys. Bill Pozderick, who's played quite a bit. Robert Newhouse comes out. Cowboys leading 38-20. The last time they were here, you recall, the Giants won in overtime 13-10. They didn't play at all last year, so that was year before last because of the NFL players' strike. Newsom and Newhouse. This is Newhouse. Robert Newhouse to the 30. How about that little piece of trivia we heard last night? 2 minutes remaining. The only player on the current Cowboy roster to ever score against the Cowboys was Newhouse in the College All-Star game. Pat Summerall and John Madden at Giants Stadium. Next on CBS Sports, the Rams against the Dolphins. Those of you in New York don't expect that because of our NFL regulations. Because this game was a sellout, this is the only game you can see. But most of the rest of the country will see the rest of that game. Newhouse over the left side, close to a first down, stopped by Harry Carson. Cowboys going with an offensive line of Phil Kosderick, Chris Schultz, both of whom are 6'8" and about 270 pounds. Hogaboom is the quarterback. Cosbie still playing. Herbert Scott is, of course, number 68. Executive producer of the NFL here on CBS is Terry O'Neill. Senior producer, Charles Milton III. Produced by Robert D. Stinner. Any comment, John?
I'll tell you, it's been a joy. No, I do have something to say. It's been a joy, and we're going to miss him.
Sandy Grossman, our director. Joan DeTrano, the associate producer. Artie Tin, it's always nice to have him around. That gives you a comfortable feeling. Scott Johnson, Bob Brown, Bob Siderman, an audio man. But Bob Stinner will be missed. He is leaving us as of this week. We want him back. Here's Jerry Hogaboom outside to Timmy Newsom, and Dallas will keep the ball. For another scoring update, let's go to Brent Musburger in the New York studio.
The Steelers have seized the lead on the Buccaneers. They've scored 17 points now in the fourth period. They lead at 17-12. Houston and Cleveland have just gone into overtime. Let's go back to Pat and John.
Dallas 38 here. The Giants 20 here. A minute 47 left to play at Giants Stadium. Cowboys have the football. Gary Hogaboom is the quarterback. Robert Newhouse and Timmy Newsom are the two runners. Newhouse. And Newhouse. Brian Kelly on the stop. Think about a guy like Robert Newhouse, who had been a starter for so many years, as the player representative for the Cowboys. Now plays on special teams and backup like this and plays with all his heart.
Well, you know, that's the type of thing that the real special people can do. You know, and Robert Newhouse is that type of guy. I mean, you know, the real team type of guy. You know, whatever the team needs, I'll do it. I want to be a part of it. You mentioned last week that you ran into one of my ex-players. It was the same type of guy, Pete Banaszak.
Right.
Pete Banaszak had been a starter at halfback and fullback, started in a Super Bowl, finished up, and he was a short yardage guy and a special teams guy, and he gave everything he had plus more. He really didn't have that much.
Well, he had enough left to say great things about you. Second down and 4 at the 44. Newhouse at about the 46 is wrapped up there. Danny White. Harry Carson there to stop. Danny White with 5 touchdown passes. Talking with our friend Greg Aiello of the Public Relations Department of the Dallas Cowboys. And don't they do a good job in that area?
They sure do. I'll tell you, they always give all the information you needed, hospitality, everything.
We had our meeting with Tom Landry last night, and we sat down, and the first thing he said, someone asked if he wanted coffee, and he said, no, this won't take long.
We aren't going to be here that long. He had to go to dinner with Wellington Mira. I wonder who pays for those dinners.
The NFL.
The head coach of one team or the owner of the other team.
Ogaboom back to Newsom. Timmy Newsom gets the Dallas first down and rumbles down into Giant territory. Dallas will have the first down. Again, here is Brent Musburger.
Pat, next Sunday, of course, the Eagles and the Cowboys will meet head-on. And today, the Eagles lost to the Colts as Raul Alegre nailed this 31-yard field goal with time running down. 22-21. Back to Pat and John.
Raul Alegre, of course, was in training camp with the Cowboys.
Remember, we met him the last preseason game, the Houston game. He was still there, and he was working with that guy, Rafael Septien. Even Rafael said, you know, he's a good kicker. He's going to play someplace in this league. He's not going to play here on this team. This is my team, but he'll play for someone else.
And he just beat the Eagles for Baltimore. Here's Newhouse. Lost the football. Picked it back up. Giants swarm on him, led by Leonard Marshall. A couple of final scores. This game is running longer and longer. Pittsburgh beat Tampa Bay. That's 9 straight the Bucs have lost. Pittsburgh 17, Tampa Bay 12. Buffalo 27, New Orleans 21. Clock is running down and out, and the Cowboys will win this one. As everybody's starting to walk off the field, and it's going to be a long night. And appears to be a long season for Bill Parcells. And Tom Landry, those 5-yard markers and those hash marks don't get any further apart for him. He still takes those long steps. So for John Madden, this is Pat Summerall saying so long from Giants Stadium. Be sure to stay tuned for the second half of our doubleheader as the Los Angeles Rams visit the Miami Dolphins. Once again, the final score is Dallas 38, the Giants.